Shalom, Israel, Brother Reggie Jr. here. So today, guys, we're going to take a look at Numbers chapter 14, just picking up where I left off from last time, guys. And if you remember in the previous chapter, um, the Lord had Moses to choose 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, because each man represented a tribe, and he wanted them to, spy out the land of Canaan to see whether or not, the land was a good land. He wanted them to spy out the inhabitants of the land to see what they were like. So, these 12 men of Israel, one of them being Joshua and the other one being Caleb, they all spied the land out. And, they returned back from spying the land out. And of course, Moses wanted to hear the report. Okay. And so as they began to speak, they all unanimously agreed that, hey, the land is a great land. It produces much. I mean, they even brought back samples, as we say, brought back a cluster of grapes. And they like, look, I mean, the land produces well. However, 10 of the men, excluding Joshua and Caleb, 10 of the men, they were basically like, look, the land is good. However, they're like, look, these Anakims, these Hamites, these little Canaanites, they're huge. Okay. We were like grasshoppers in their sight, meaning they were very tall men, very tall women. Okay. And they believed that they were going to be devoured. Look, if we go up in this land and try to go against these people, we're going to be destroyed. Okay. And of course, the children of Israel, being a faithless people as they are, they automatically, their spirits just went straight in the trash. However, Joshua, Caleb, they was looking like, look, man, that we be more than able to possess the land. The Lord will give these people into our hands. So they weren't worried at all because they knew, hey, all of this stuff the Lord did for us in the past, delivering us out of Egypt, by those great plagues. And not only that, we spoiled the Egyptians before we left. That's why we got all the substance that we have now. Defeating our enemies that come against us in the very wilderness itself. Hey, man, they knew. Oh, man, they had complete faith in their God. They like, look, Lord, I know you got us. And so naturally, they were trying to encourage the children of Israel. But we know this people. They have no faith in God. They have faith in everything but God. And so that's pretty much where we're leaving off. And like I said, Israel always believe the false prophets. They always believe those with the evil report. So let's get it. Numbers 14:1, it says, and all the congregation lift up their voice, because remember, they believed the evil report of these 10 men. It says, and cried, and the people wept that night. Verse 2. So they were crying, weeping, showing out. You know how Israel do. Verse 2, and all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron. Now, were they really murmuring against Moses and Aaron? No, they were actually murmuring against the Lord God of Israel. Okay, so really we can read it like this. And all the children of Israel murmured against God. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness? Okay. And wherefore have the Lord brought us into this land to fall by the sword, basically give us into the hand of these Hamites, these Anakims, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return and eat into Egypt? So all of this stuff they seen the Lord do for them. Take them out of Egypt by those mighty plagues. And not only that, spoiling the Egyptians as they left, putting fear in the heart of all of the nations, of them. Something is really wrong with these people. They have very short-term memory, but as you can see, they still got Egypt on the brain, brothers and sisters. They cannot take their mind off of Egypt. And what it is, too, is they're looking for they don't have faith, but they're also looking for an excuse to go back to Egypt because they're thinking about the times where they got to do whatever they wanted to do. I remember we used to be able to sleep around. I remember, man, we used to just be able to go to clubs. We used to get to celebrate the holidays called the Golden Calf. Man, I remember we used to be able to go to McDonald's, man. This is the stuff Israel is really thinking about. The rest of this stuff is just a cloak because they're thinking about, see, but now I'm in this wilderness, man. And trust me, the Lord know. The Lord say, I know the intent of your heart. You not fooling with me now. The Lord will deal with you on according to the level of what you're dealing with, but he know the true intent of your heart. He know what you really mean. But nevertheless, he'll deal with you according to what you're complaining about. All right. Verse 4. And they said one to another, let us make a captain. Look at what these evil Israelites said. Let us make us a captain. Okay, in other words, screw Moses, screw Aaron. Let us make a leader. And let us return to Egypt. And let that leader we choose lead us back to Egypt. Rather than being in this wilderness, hot, sweating, suffering, having to live righteously. Let's go back to Egypt where we can do what we wanted to do, even though we were slaves, and even though our God did all of this stuff to these Egyptians, to the point that even if we were to return, they would kill us all. Because unlike you, they're going to want some vengeance for what happened to them. But I bet you Israel didn't think that far, because all they think about is pleasure. Them Egyptians would have ripped them apart, because they would want vengeance for the destruction of their country, the destruction of their king and their princes and their horsemen. They would destroy your black behind. But see, Israel, they would defy all reality so they can satisfy their belly, called their desires. Okay? But that's what they said. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces, so they were sorrowful before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel, because they just can't believe Israel's mind, and they know that the punishment of the Lord is coming for this evil act that they've done. But the Lord taking Israel, this behavior that we're seeing from Israel, this is actually what the Lord wants. And I'll show you. Deuteronomy chapter 8. Excuse me, y'all. Let me get some water. This behavior is actually what the Lord wanted to see. This is why he brought them to the wilderness. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. And it says, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God lead thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee. So why were we even in the wilderness? To humble thee, Israel. It was to humble you, and to what? Prove you. And to what? More than anything, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. So whether or not you would be obedient unto the Lord. And that's why the Lord subjected Israel to such conditions, such as putting them in the wilderness, afflicted their belly. He caused them to be hungry and to thirst, because he want to see the mind of Israel. I want to see what you're made of, because anybody can serve God under the conditions that they're successful. You know what I mean? Things that their job is going right. They don't have no enemies attacking them. Their health is 100%. Got plenty of money in the bank. Children are healthy. They're doing well. They're successful. So under those type of conditions, anybody can say they serve God and love God, but it's when he take you through your wilderness. And this ain't even just as a nation, but even in our own life, in our own journeys. These are the things the Lord will do to you. He will cause you to be tested, to see whether or not you still gonna love him, have faith in him, and be obedient to him under circumstances that don't favor you. Then that's when the Lord really see this mind. He really see what you're made of, and he's getting to see Israel's true colors. And that is why right here, Israel's unbelief and faithlessness, this is what the Lord wanted to see. This is why he didn't take them straight into the land, because he don't want to take a bad batch of Israelites into the land. That's why he took them here. This is actually what he wanted to see. Because you have a lot of Israelites, brothers and sisters, they're masquerading like they're serving God, that they love Him. They show up every Sabbath day like they are a child of God. But when they get tested, the first sign of a test from God, they become weak as water. I quit. I give up. I don't think serving God for me. I'm just finna go back out there in the world. The first sign of trouble, that's what these Negroes do. Why? Because they were never serving the Lord to begin with. Because for Israel, serving the Lord is just something to do. For most Israelites, I hate to say it, brothers and sisters, but it's the truth. For most Israelites, serving God is just something to do. Coming to the Sabbath class or church is just somewhere to go. It's just a Comic-Con convention. It's a darn cosplay convention. That's all it is for these brothers and sisters. They don't really love God. They here to worship their teacher. They're just there to conversate with their fellow brothers and sisters, but they don't really care about God. And that's why the Lord has us here, brothers and sisters, right here in the captivity in the lands that we are, in a system where you can do whatever the hell you want to do because He want to see. In a system where you can do whatever you want to do, let's see if they choose to obey me, because that's a choice. Serving God is a choice. It's not optional, but it's a choice. And a lot of Israelites, they failing. I hate to say it, a lot of them are failing because this system is too good for a lot of our people. They too worried about what Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion doing. They worried about the Cat Williams interview. That's what our people are focused on. But this Bible right here, this boring now. Our people don't want to hear this. This boring. That's why people, they want Israel's church. They want us to talk about conspiracy theories. They want us to talk about weird stuff because that excites them. They want us to talk about drama and gossip because that gets them excited. It gets their attention. But screw you, because I'm never going to give you that. At Israel's church, we're not going to give you that. You can go to some other church and other camp where they're going to talk about all of that stuff. But here, we going to stay strictly book. And that's why a lot of these brothers and sisters, they don't like us. Because we're going to stay right here in this book. Right here in this Bible. And we're going to tell you about yourself. We're going to tell you how evil and wicked you are. Not on the Sabbath. We're going to tell you how wicked and evil you are behind the scenes through the week. Because a lot of y'all, it ain't no different from Sunday church. Y'all do evil all throughout the week. And I ain't talking about y'all, but I'm talking about whoever the shoe fit. Y'all do evil all throughout the week. Then the Sabbath come, or as it approaches, you begin to sanitize yourself. Let me pray. You ain't prayed all week, but Friday night, come, here you go. Let me pray, because I know tomorrow's the Sabbath, so let me pray. Let me start anointing myself, acting holy, so that way when the Sabbath day come, I can fully cleanse my wicked mind, so that way I could be sanitized to do more evil during the week. I know our people. Our people don't even pick this Bible up through the week because they too worried about what's going on out here in the world. They worried about Gaza and what the Jews doing. That's what they're worried about. That's what our people worry about. But this book is boring. I don't feel like picking that up during the week. I got better things to do. That's how our people feel about the Lord. But that's perfect. That's what the Lord wants. Because in the distraction of Babylon, He could see who really is serving Him and who isn't. Right now, He's separating the sheep from the goats. Well, how you think on Judgment Day He know who to separate? He doing it now. I'm already separating them. Okay, this one here, he loved Babylon. He can go down with his master. Him, he like served me. Everybody beat up on him and hate him, but he's serving me. He going in the kingdom. He dividing us right now. That's why we say right here, we are in our wilderness. Whatever nation you find yourself in, you in your wilderness, and the Lord want to see if you're going to be obedient to Him. But let's go ahead, brothers and sisters, and get back into the lesson. I don't really like expounding like that, but sometimes, brothers and sisters, some things need to be said. That don't mean I hate you. Doesn't mean Israel's church hates you, or it's not. We don't say these things because we feel more righteous than you. No, these things just have to be said because we don't have other teachers telling us this stuff. They too busy trying to get money and trying to be a mega church. We don't have time for that. All right, so let's get back into it, brothers and sisters. So we see in verse 5, Moses and Aaron fell on their face because they know what's coming. They know the Lord finna be pissed. He finna be teed off. And plus two, they just can't believe Israel's ignorance. Verse 6. So now I'm gonna read 6 through 12. Okay. And it says, and Joshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, they rent their clothes. So Joshua, also known as Oshea, him and Caleb, they rent their clothes because they just could not stand the unbelief of these Israelites. So, imagine that since Egypt, they too, just like Moses and Aaron, Caleb and Joshua, they also seen the disobedience of Israel, and it drove them nuts, and they rent their clothes. Verse 7, and they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel. So now Joshua and Caleb, they're going to try to give Israel a pep talk, try to change their mind. Okay. That's love. They could have just been like, you stupid Israelite, y'all dummies don't ever believe, and I hate y'all. Y'all no, instead they try to give them a little pep talk. Hey, y'all ain't gotta be like this. Look, man, we got this. So this is what it says, and they spake unto the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. So they trying to motivate the children of Israel. Hey, don't be sad and crying and weeping. He says it's an exceeding good land. 8. If the Lord delight in us, if he loves us, which he did, he loved the children of Israel, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. He trying to get them to see past the Anakims. That's what they're trying to do. Verse 9. And look what they said. Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land. And that's what it mostly was too. It was fear. And brothers and sisters, this is why the Lord warned us through Paul. Hey, the fearful, they're not going to make it in the kingdom, because guess what? That fear can cause you to disobey the Lord, because you fear what's going to happen to your own safety. And so you decide to abandon and rebel against the Lord, because shoot, I ain't finna do this that the Lord say, because I ain't finna let this happen to me. I know the Lord told me to do this, but if I do this, gonna happen to me. I ain't doing that. That's why King Saul got in trouble, right? Remember King Saul? Remember he feared the people? That's why he saved the sheep alive and stuff, even though the Lord had just said, hey, Saul, I want you and your men to kill all the sheep, slaughter everything. But he didn't do it. Why? He tried to lie and be like, oh, well, Lord, we could have used it to, sacrifice to you and stuff. And the Lord literally looking at him like, come on now. And then he ended up confessing. Yeah. Now I say the Lord, but we know it's Samuel, but he ended up confessing to the Lord. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Lord, I had feared the people, because the people basically was talking about ripping him apart if he didn't do what they said. But that's the thing. We ought to obey God rather than man. So, hey, I don't give a damn if you don't like me. I don't care what you threaten me with. I'm going to punch you in your face. You better not teach that anymore, or I'm going to punch you in your face. That's what the apostles went through. Men threatening them. They had people running after them. We going to kill you. But they didn't stop teaching, did it? Because the Lord gave them a command. I command you to spread my doctrine over the whole earth where these Israelites are. So they couldn't stop because of the threat of death, because what? They would be disobeying. well, Lord, I fear death, so therefore, I can't do what you told me to do. That's rebellion. So that's what makes that fear crazy. And as Les Brown always says, I love using this, he says fear is false expectations appearing real. And so sometimes, you find yourself doing irrational things. You're thinking about the worst case scenario. If I do this thing the Lord tell me, I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna croak out. But then you do the thing that the Lord tell you to do. You realize you ain't have to pick up no weapons. You ain't have to fight. The Lord just simply wanted to see if you was gonna show up to wherever it was that the Lord wanted you to show up. Yeah, you ain't even have to fight. I just wanted to see if you was gonna do what I say. And this is what our people ain't got. They ain't understand that. The Lord didn't, because see, they're thinking, yeah, we're gonna have to go in and fight and all that. The Lord could have just, okay, the children of Israel believe me, that's good. And then he tell the angel, okay, on the land of Canaan, I need you to rain down fire on the Anakims, completely destroy them, and we go right into the land. And so, what am I saying with that? Well, sometimes in defining God, in our fear, we begin to make our journey, as we're going to see, longer than what it could have been. Your journey should have took 5 minutes, but because you rebelled, you was full of fear, your journey will now take 2 hours instead of 5 minutes. Okay, but let's go ahead and get back to the lesson, y'all. I don't want to deviate too far off. Let me get some more water. Okay, verse 9. I'm gonna read that again. So Joshua and Caleb said, only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land. That's what fueled their rebellion, this fear. For they are bread for us. So Joshua and Caleb was the first one to coin the phrase, they food for us. You ever heard they say that phrase in this generation? Boy, you food for me. They was the first to say it. First one to say it, for they are what? Bread for us. They just food. We're going to eat them up. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. So this is Joshua and Caleb trying to give Israel a pep talk, trying to boost their spirits up. Now, they could have just, you Israelite, y'all so wicked, but they didn't do that. They showed love and tried to give them motivation, tried to encourage them, give them a pep talk, lift their spirits. Okay? Sun in my eye. Okay? But let's keep reading. Verse 10. It says, but all the congregation, they stoned them with stones. So after Joshua and Caleb tried to encourage them, motivate the children of Israel, what did they do? What they always done to those that's trying to help them. They wanted to kill them, wanted to stone them with stones. Okay. And that was enough for the Lord. It says, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. You already know this ain't finna end well. Verse 11. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? Now, when you look at this word provoke, brothers and sisters, it's not something that happens in an instant. Provoking is when you make a person mad over time. You're constantly prodding at them and giving rise to their anger. So the Lord's anger was just steady rising. Israel was just provoking, poke, 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 and just the Lord was just getting angrier and angrier with the children of Israel to where we at now, in captivity, looking stupid and dark. But let's keep going. He says, how long will this people provoke me? How long will it be ere that they believe me? How long will it be, Moses, before these people believe in me and have faith in me? For all the signs which I have shewed among them. So all of the signs and wonders that the Lord have showed among his people, such as raining the quail down, giving them manna, delivering them from Egypt, splitting the sea, causing fear to be in the heart of the nations. All of this stuff Israel experienced and seen, and they still was faithless. It made the Lord so, it made him mad. But you know what, brothers and sisters? Even centuries later, long after this happened in the wilderness, Israel was still faithless. Let's go to John 12. Let's see what John said about the children of Israel. Okay. Let's see what he said. John chapter 12 and let's see, 37. And it says, but though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believe not on him. And that's just in Israel's makeup. They just do not believe in God. They'll believe in a man. They'll believe in something fictitious like Santa Claus, and they'll believe in all of this stuff. But for some reason, when it just comes to the Most High, Israel they shut down. Their mind just starts defying reality. And it's a shame, brothers. So it really is. And that's the same thing with the southern kingdom. When Christ came on the scene, I knew we was dealing with Christ here. But the same thing happened. The Lord came to the southern kingdom, and all they kept asking Jesus was, show us a sign, do this, do that. And the Lord said, I've been showing you signs. I've been healing people. I've been feeding the masses with just 2 fish and 5 loaves. I've been showing y'all Negroes, you still don't believe. No, it's just because you are faithless and you are fearful and you love pleasure. That's why you can't believe in me, because you love pleasure and you're fearful. That's why you can't believe nothing I say. And that's just the truth. All right. So let's go ahead and go back. Numbers 14. Well, let me get another swig of water. I've been trying to do a better job of drinking water during my lesson so I can talk longer. So now, what is the Lord prepared to do to Israel? Well, verse 12, it says, I will smite them with the pestilence. So the Lord said, I'm going to smite these 12 tribes with the pestilence. And what? And disinherit them. Okay, that's what he told Moses. I'm going to smite them with a pestilence and disinherit them. And in case you don't know, he's talking about killing all of them in an instant, not like, just a little bit of, no, he's talking about in one go, I'm just going to kill them all. And will make of you, or of thee, a greater nation and mightier than they. Almost hinting that if I would have made this greater nation, mightier nation of Moses, they would have actually did what I said. They would have been a faithful people. But Moses is finna get ready to intercede. The same Moses that the children of Israel couldn't stand. This same man stood in the gap for them so that the Lord didn't have to kill all of them. 13. Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it. They're going to hear how you killed the children of Israel. Okay, verse 14. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that thou art among this people, that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standeth over them. So the nations, they knew that God was with the children of Israel and that his presence was in their camp. They knew that. The nations, all of them got word of it, and they were fearful. It says, in that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. So even in that, brothers and sisters, day and night, you see how it's different. Okay. So when there was light out, okay, when there was light out, you seen the pillar of cloud, a big old stalk, a cloud. But then at night, the darkness, which you guys say is a day, and it's not, the darkness being night, it said it was a pillar of fire. Okay. So why wasn't it a pillar of cloud at night if you say the night is the next day? Why wasn't there a pillar of cloud? Why was it fire? Man, stop playing, man. Verse 15. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, there it go. If you kill them all as one man, meaning God was going to get Israel in an instant, they would have collapsed in an instant. He says, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard of the fame of thee will speak, saying, why wasn't he able to take them in the land? Because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them. Therefore, ye have slain them in the wilderness. In other words, he couldn't deliver on his promise, so he killed them all. Verse 17. And now I beseech thee, let the power of the Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying. Okay, so basically Moses like, Lord, your name on the line. Verse 18. So we see that Moses, he's a type of Christ. He intercedes for us because you're supposed to be dead. But Christ is like, hey, don't do it, Father. Give him another chance. That's pretty much what Moses is doing. Verse 18. And it says, the Lord is long suffering and of great mercy. And he really is, brothers and sisters, forgiving iniquity and transgression. Because remember, he doesn't have to do any of this. He's God. He don't got to forgive you. He don't got to be long suffering. He don't got to show mercy. You're not deserving of that. So any of that the Lord show you is of his own goodwill, not because you deserved it. And you got these black people, these black men and these black women thinking that this is owed to them because I'm so righteous, I'm so holy, so therefore God got to give me mercy. He got to forgive me. No, the Lord is sovereign. He do what he want to do. So everything he does is of his own goodwill. Okay. It says, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Verse 19, pardon, I beseech you. So he's like, Lord, forgive the children of Israel. So he says, pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of this people, according unto the greatness of thy mercy, and as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. So the Lord has been very merciful and forgiving the children of Israel from the time they got out of Egypt, even up to this point where they are now. So they've been sinning from the day they stepped foot out of the land of Egypt, and the Lord constantly had been putting up with them, having to constantly show mercy and forgive them. Because remember, in Exodus, there were so many times that the Lord, Exodus and Leviticus, there were so many times the Lord wanted to wipe them out. But what? His great mercy, his compassion, he had compassion on his people. He didn't do it. He held back. Why? Because of the provocation. Israel constantly was giving rise to the Lord's anger, making him angry and angry and angry. And that's why Moses knew, brothers and sisters, he knew, hey, he eventually said later, look, when I die, y'all going into captivity. He already knew. Y'all going to go in the land. You're going to possess it for a little while, a little bit. And it was. Compared to the amount of time we've been in captivity, we possessed the land for a little bit of time. Okay. Moses said, you're going to utterly corrupt yourself and God going to throw you out the land. And you're going to be there until the Lord come back and get your behind. And where we at? Right here in captivity here until the Lord come back and get us. Why? Because Moses knew what type of people we were. And thus, we're in captivity. Verse 21. says, but as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice. So there's a total of 10 times that they greatly provoked the Lord. Okay. Verse 23. It says, surely they shall not see the land. So he telling the children of Israel, this group here, this generation, he says, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me, okay, see it. He's saying them that provoke me, they not going to see it, okay? And that's why, brothers and sisters, you don't ever want to follow the crowd, because don't think your crowd too big for the Lord to get you. Surely the Lord won't get 1 million of us. Did you not read Noah and what he did? He drowned the entire earth. Okay, he drowned the entire earth, and it was only 8 souls left alive. So don't think you can hide in the crowd, because it's a lot of y'all, therefore the Lord won't get me. No, he gonna get you. But see, even if it's just you versus the whole world, God will tear all them up and preserve you alive. See, but this is an example too of not following that crowd. Verse 24, and it says, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him. And what spirit is that, brothers? So it's the spirit of faith, the spirit of obedience, the spirit of love, and have followed me fully. So, even though all the 12 tribes of Israel, massive and numerous as they was, you mean to tell me the Lord was still watching Caleb? And how, Caleb followed him fully? So the Lord see you. He don't care about how many millions and 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 millions of Israelites ain't doing what he say. He still see you. It ain't so many of y'all that he don't know that you doing right. No, he know. Nah, I see I see Brother Reggie Jr. doing what I say. I see that. I see him. I'm God. I see everybody. My eyes always do behold the sons of men, they heart in their works. I'm watching all day, every day. So they show you, brothers, says you can't hide from God. Well, I can hide from him in this crowd. That ain't how it works. So in this captivity, brothers and sisters, make sure you doing the right thing. You want to be that one when he looking at all these wicked Israelites who he finna get. He looking at all of them. He can look at you and say, okay, but Brother Reggie Jr. right here, he doing what I say. So spare him. Make sure them heathen don't tear him apart. Seal him. But them other Israelites, let them heathen have them. So, brothers and sisters, it's all fun and games till the judgment come. Verse 24 still. I'm going to start from the top. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and have followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereunto he went, and his seed shall possess it. So not only is he going to go into the land, I'm going to make sure his seed possess the land, possess some territory in that land. That's beautiful. And that's how it's going to be, brothers and sisters. Only a remnant going to go back. From all of the generations of the earth, starting from Adam, all the way until the end of the world, only a remnant going to go back. Because unfortunately, just majority of Israel, man, they just wicked, man. It's just, Israel just do not want to do the right thing. It's like I said, you can give success to Israel on a silver platter. Everything is all worked out. All they have to do is follow the plan, and they will find some way to sabotage this good thing that they got going for them. This is Israel we're dealing with. They will mess it up. All Israel got to do is sit down, shut up, obey the Lord, and they good. And that go for me too. I got to sit down and shut my mouth and just obey the Lord. And look, I'm good. But Israel don't want to do that. Israel want to be grown when it comes to the Lord. No, I do what I want to do. I ain't gonna let nobody tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it's gonna be that way. It's my way or the highway, and that highway gonna lead you right to the highway to hell. That's where it's gonna lead you. Verse 25. But brothers and sisters, I pray that I'm like Caleb. I pray that I get to go back to the land as well. Verse 25. Now, the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelt in the valley. And it says, tomorrow turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. 26. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation? Okay. And that right there is going to contradict something Korah says later, because Korah, Dathan, and they're going to have uprising later, and they're going to say, ain't all us Israelites righteous? Ain't all of us holy? But what did the Lord say right here? How long shall I bear with what? This evil generation. Korah told the whole lie. God said these jokers evil. He said, what? Which murmur against me. I thought they murmured against Moses and Aaron, the children of Israel. No, the Lord said they murmur against me. Why? Because Moses and Aaron, they were nothing. They were just simply vessels that the Lord was using to lead the children of Israel and to speak on his behalf. So who is they really doing it against? They was doing it against him. It's just like Samuel. Remember? He said, oh man, Israel, they rejected me. He said, no, Samuel, they not rejecting you. They rejecting me. So go ahead and get they behind the king, and that king gonna tear they behind up, and they gonna cry, but I ain't gonna hear them. Okay, verse 27. 28. Saying to them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, as ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. Because remember, they didn't want to go into the land. Okay, so the Lord like, oh, you don't want to go into the land? Okay, then you ain't gonna go into the land. This is what I got for you. 29. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were number of you according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. So all of those that was 20 years old and up. He says, doubtless ye shall not come into the land. So without a doubt, you ain't going into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua or Oshea the son of Nun. 31. But your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have despised. Well, Lord don't play. 32. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness. In other words, Israel, you're going to get your wish. You're going to fall right here in the wilderness. Because they're told the Lord, I ain't going in this land you trying to give us over to. So the Lord said, okay, you're going to die right here in this wilderness then. 33. And your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years. Remember I told you when you disobey the Lord, hey, instead of your trip taking 5 minutes, it's going to take 2 hours. Your journey, instead of it taking 5 minutes, your journey now is going to take 2 hours because of your fear and your love for pleasure. Now your journey going to be that much younger. Now Joshua and Caleb, they're going to be old by the time they get in the wilderness because them suckers. And that's not showing love. Because now they're being held back because of your actions. And that's what Israel has to understand. This individualist mindset. No, the stuff you do has consequences on the rest of us. Look at our women out there. A few of our women out there twerking in front of the world. And what the world think about our women. The good ones, at least. They go to the good women, think, Tasha, you going to break that thing down? You know how sexy red does each of that. I'm gonna break it down. And she looking at this heathen like, I'm not like the rest of my sisters. Get out of here. Right? You got the brothers, thugging it up. You got them cooning. And so these heathen come to us thinking, come to the good brothers thinking, you know, yeah, I bet you don't like Devontae, do you? Hmm? Oh, what's that song, man? Yeah. Mm, mm. Because what you do affects the rest of your people, whether you believe it or not. And we need to understand that, brothers and sisters. That's why we got this bad reputation. And that's why, too, as good Israelites, we gonna have to go to war and fight with these wicked Israelites. Go to war with this word. Pull this word out on them and correct their wicked deeds. We got to stop sitting by, brothers and sisters, and let these people get away with stuff. You see a wicked Facebook post, you see a wicked video on YouTube, hop under that comment section with some scriptures and go to battle with these evil jokers. And let them go to sleep with that Bible you just hit them upside the head with. Let them go to sleep with that on their mind, and maybe they'll change. All right. But let's keep going. We are now on verse 34. And it says, after the number of the days in which he searched the land, even 40 days. So we see they searched the land for 40 days. Now, in chapter 13, it seemed like it was in an instant, but we see that it was actually 40 days that those 12 men were spying out the land. It says, each day for a year shall ye bear your what? Iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. So, boy, the Lord was not playing with the children of Israel. And let this be a lesson to you, even in your own individual walk. If you don't do what the Lord say, he prepared to do stuff like this to you. Okay, you didn't want to do what I said. Okay, I'm going to walk you around the mountain. I'm going to make your journey even longer because you decided not to do what I said. All right, but let's just keep going. 35. I, the Lord, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation. Again, he called them evil. So why you got these Israelite brothers today acting like our ancestors was just so righteous and these evil, mean heathen came and grabbed our nice, kind, and righteous people and brought us into these lands unjustly? No, God said this evil congregation. You hear, brothers and sisters, because you evil. Don't ever forget that. We over here acting like we was just so righteous, and that's all these brothers talk about all day. Esau, Esau. Oh man, look at what Esau doing. Esau so evil and wicked. You wicked as hell. You ain't no better than your brothers. You are wicked as hell. You can't be talking about no heathen and you just as wicked as they are. Yeah, they be doing this and they be doing that, but yet you take their blueprint for wickedness. Get out of here, man, with that hypocritical stuff. I can't stand that junk. No, instead of talking about Esau all day, because you trying to get views, because you know that's the stuff Israel like to hear, because you trying to get them subscribers and you need that money out of Israel pockets. What you need to be telling these Israelites to do is get their life together. You need to show these wicked Israelites their sins. That's why people don't change, because you keep pointing the finger at somebody else instead of dealing with your own wickedness. No, you're here dealing with Esau, which I don't believe these people are Esau, by the way. You keep pointing your finger at Esau, but you're here dealing with Esau because you wicked as hell, you evil. And you don't want nobody to tell you that. You just want to believe you were brought here because some weird phenomenon, you slipped and fell into the ship and they brought you over here. You was brought over here because you were evil. You were a rebel against God. You love you love money over the Lord and treating your brothers and sisters right. That's why you over here. This whole book showing us all this evil we did to land in the captivity, and our people don't want to read none of it because we know it's going to stop Israel from clicking that subscribe button. It's going to stop Israel from giving that money, from listening to us. I don't give a damn. You can go kick rocks. I hope you unsubscribe. I hope you give me a thumbs down. I hope you shame my video. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't care what you say. You are not going to come to this church. You're not going to come to this platform and just sit down and you going to be comfortable. And you a man sleeping with another man's wife, and you going to sit here and be comfortable talking about Esau all day, and you sleeping with some man in the congregation wife. And I'm being generous. Usually they sleeping with a whole bunch of men wife. You a woman in the church, you talking about Becky. You hear these Israelite women talk about Becky up. Yeah, Becky, she evil. She do this and she do that. She pretend like she this and that. And meanwhile, you want 4 sausages in the church. But don't nobody want to say nothing. We just want to point the finger at Esau. What Esau doing? Slandering one another on our platforms. But hey, Esau, all this murdering and killing on the streets. But hey, Esau, no, brothers and sisters, you are here because you are serving out the punishment for your evil, plain and simple. And see, these other brothers and sisters, they want your money, so they're not going to tell you that. They may throw it in every now and then to make it seem like they're kind of getting on to you, but nah, they not. They not really truly getting on to you. They not really truly trying to clean your mind up and get your life right. Get your life right. No, they truly trying to get that money out your pocket. They truly trying to build their brand. And y'all gonna understand a lot of these little leaders y'all got in Israel, they don't care nothing about you. Now, y'all don't think we care about you because we open this book up and we a little rough with you, and we keep the truth 100% raw. And so you think we hate you. No, these other ministers and these teachers, preachers, bishop, whatever they want to call themselves, they speak well. They don't tell you nothing bad you want to hear, stuff like that. I'm telling you, these people, them men really hate you. They actually hate you. But they're just exploiting you, just like that same white man they talk about. Yeah, the white man, he be doing this, exploiting Israel, got him doing this, got him doing that. And nigga, you doing the same thing. So, and yeah, this heathen, he gonna get it. You gonna get it too, though, because you doing what he doing. But you acting holy because you ain't been caught yet. And when you get caught, you gonna run from up under that law that you say you under, and you gonna run under the Christ. We can't be judging people. You got to forgive. We can't be airing out the stuff, people did. You can't talk about our sins out loud. You need to have mercy. Don't air us out. But then you airing out people in your congregation. They sin or mess up. You air out all they dirty laundry and tell them how they going to die within a year. But then when you mess up, you disappear. Nobody know where you at because them nasty preachers and deacons and bishop, they covering for your behind. But when it come to the people, you air all they mess out. But when it come to you, you hide. You cover your brothers that's directly under your tutelage. But the people, you destroy them. Why? Because in your mind, the people are disposable. They're despicable. I'm just exploiting them anyway, so it don't matter if I hurt them and tear them apart. But when your own do something, your own ministers, bishops, and all of that stuff, you cover for them. Don't be no hypocrite. They run right under Christ. I can't stand that hypocrisy. And see, when Jesus came, these are the things that Jesus was talking about. That's what made Jesus so upset, because of the hypocrisy. That's why you always heard him say that, you hypocrites. Because Israel is some of the most hypocritical people that you will ever meet, more so their leaders than anything. Hypocrites. Okay, I wanted to say more, but I'm just going to leave it at that, and we're going to keep reading. All right. We are at verse 35, and it says, "And I, the Lord, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil generation that are gathered together against me." So not against Moses and Aaron, against me. "In this wilderness they shall be what? Consumed, and there they shall die." So they're going to live all their days in the wilderness and then die. Now, he could have smote them with a pestilence, but he didn't do that. He just let them drop dead. Let them live their life out and just die, basically. 36. "And the men which Moses sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up a slander upon the land." So he dealing with these men that brought the evil report. "Even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land died by the plague before the Lord." So the Lord killed them instantly. He wasn't going to let 40 years go by for them. He killed them instantly. All them jokers died except for who? Joshua and Caleb. Okay, but the rest of them 10, they was killed instantly. Just like the false prophets, later on in the Bible, whenever you had all them false prophets, Lord killed they butt. He didn't take them into captivity. They got killed. He killed them. Why? Because you caused Israel to transgress. Especially, if this is a people that's got a weak mind. Because I'm sorry, Israel has a weak mind. If you know this people got a weak mind, why would you say stuff to cause their confidence to go down? To cause them not to have faith? You already know these people weak. Except when it comes to evil, then they strong as hell. When it comes to righteousness and faith in God, they weak in that area. Why would you do that? Why would you give an evil report? Man, the Lord said, man, he told them men up. 38. "But Joshua the son of Nun, or Oshea, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of the men that went to search the land, lived still." So it was well with them. They were chilling, living good. 39. "And Moses told these things unto all the children of Israel, and they did what? They do what they always do when they called out for what they are. What? And the people mourned greatly." Israel good. For every time you call them out on something and you show them what they really are or expose them for what they really are, that's the first thing they do. They cry and mourn. They good for that. Why you ain't crying mourn for your unbelief? See, you want to cry for your judgment. Why you didn't cry and mourn for your unbelief and your faithlessness? You want to cry for the judgment. No, you need to cry for those things that led to your judgment. Verse 40. "And they rose up early in the morning and got them up into the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we be here. It says, so look at what the children of Israel did. It says, "And they rose up early in the morning, start of a new day, and got them up into the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we be here, and will go up unto the place which the Lord hath promised. For we have sinned." Now that the punishment is on these Negroes, now they want to do what they should have done in the first place. No, we gonna go now. We gonna go into the land which the Lord hath promised. We have sinned. Verse 41. "And Moses said, Wherefore now do ye transgress the commandment of the Lord? but it shall not prosper. The Lord just told y'all, but you're not going in. You're going to suffer the punishment of these 40 years in the wilderness. You're going to drop dead right here. So what he said, 42, go not up, for the Lord is not among you, that ye be not smitten before your enemies. So Moses said, look, you can get all macho and try to get motivated now and pumped up now. It's too late for that. You got to serve out this punishment. But if you decide you don't want to listen to what the Lord said, meaning you're going to spend this 40 years here in the wilderness, you're going to die here. Hey, you can ignore that and go in that land if you want to. Them Amalekites going to eat your behind up. Because why? The Lord ain't with you. So them Amalekites going to take you and they going to beat your tail. You're going to be smitten before your enemies. 43. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are now, for the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and ye shall fall by the sword, because you are turned away from the Lord. Therefore, the Lord will not be with you. So we see here, this is what determines whether or not you get victory upon your enemies. It's determined by whether or not the Lord is with you. So if the Lord is with you, he will give your enemies into your hand. But if not, you're going to lose. And that's what these heathens don't understand. See, the Lord is with them right now because he got to keep these Israelites oppressed. He got to keep them ruling because I need you to punish these dark people. But the moment the Lord have compassion on his people and forgive them in returns, okay, then he going to switch over unto the side of Israel, and these heathen going to be in trouble. And see, these heathen, they know that. That's why they trying to build these super weapons, because they know the day the Lord ain't with us and he go with these Israelites and come back to fight us, we need to have some weapons to try to defeat him. And we know that ain't even going. It's not even a war, brothers and sisters. It's going to be a war. It ain't even a war. It's a massacre. It's a one-sided ass whooping. God gonna tear them heathen to shred. So no, brothers and sisters, it don't matter. Because first of all, Lord said, don't trust in your horses. And what you see them heathen do, they trust in their horses, which is what? They fighter jets. They trust in their tanks. They trust in their missiles, their nukes. What did God just say? Don't trust in your horses. Unless the Lord look after the city, it's going to fall. That's what the Bible says. Unless the Lord look after the city, that city is going to fall. That's why we tell these Israelites, you need to get reconnected with your God. Because you get reconnected with your God, ain't nothing these heathen going to be able to do to you. And if they lift their hand to so much do anything to you, God will have them destroyed, punished. I witnessed it in my own life. All them heathens can do is just look at you. Mad as hell, but for some reason they know I can't touch this nigga. He's got a protection around him. Something's protecting him. I can't get to him. Or the heathens that do ignore it and decide to do something to me anyway. The Lord plague them, destroy their whole life, bring them to nothing. This is the power that you have with the Most High against your enemies. When you serve the Lord and you got enemies coming against you, you can curse them. I'm not talking about your brother. I'm talking about your real enemies. You can curse them. You can actually curse them. Let them be destroyed. And that word going to go forth and they going to be destroyed. Blessed be them that bless you, and cursed be them that curse you. We got more power than we think, brothers and sisters, but let's keep going. All right. Verse 44. But they presumed to go up but they presumed to go up into the hilltop. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses departed not out of the camp. Then the Amalekites came down, and the Canaanites which dwelt in that hill, and smote them, and discomfited them even unto Hormah. So you see, even down to the end, Israel refused to listen. The Lord just told you, and that right there is another showing of Israel's lack of faith. God just told you, don't go down there because I'm not with you. If you go down there, these Amalekites, these Canaanites, they're going to tear your behind up. You're going to be smitten. We going to go anyway. We going to show how zealous we are for God, and got destroyed. So Israel, they just refuse to listen. God tell them left, they go right. God tell them right, they go left. He tell them to go up, they go down. Israel always walks contrary to God. And as it was said in Deuteronomy 28, you walk contrary to me, I'm going to walk contrary to you. And that's why you see Israel out here. That's why they not winning. That's why they can't defeat their enemies. Because they don't understand that they're at war with their own God. And we all know, anybody who fight God, that is a battle that you're not going to win. Your chances of winning are in the negative numbers. You are not going to win. You have no chance. And so Israel, they think they're battling these heathen, but they're actually battling their God. That's why they're losing. And even when it comes to their enemies, you're going to flee from before them. Just like Jonathan Majors. One white woman had him fleeing, running for his life. And why was he really running? He was really running because he's scared of her daddies, scared of her uncles, because he knew what it was going to look like when he got in that court system. And it didn't matter anyway, because they still got him, because you a nigger. Still got your black behind. Why? Because we refuse to do what the Lord tell us to do. And so just like it said in the curses, hey, you're going to flee before your enemies. And we literally seen that happen to Jonathan Majors. Fled from before his enemy, who he was once sleeping in bed with. I tell you, boy, our people something else. And, brothers and sisters, I know a lot of black people, they don't like lessons like this. They want Israel's church to talk about how evil our enemies are and how they're Esau, and they want us to get into this conspiracy stuff. Listen, we gonna tell you about your sins. Majority of this Bible is nothing but bad news for us. It talks about nothing but the evil that we do and that we're still doing. It ain't like we're not doing it now. No, we're still doing it. And so therefore, we got to get on you. And so, these lessons are meant to make you uncomfortable. And again, if you're uncomfortable, that means the shoe fit. Because if I'm not doing nothing evil, hey, I'm not hurt by these messages that come out. I'm just going to agree. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's what Israel be doing too. So, hey, if the shoe fit, hey, wear it. But if you ain't doing that, you ain't got nothing to worry about. This lesson was not for you. I wasn't talking to you. But this lesson is for those rebellious Israelites that we got right now. They in the church and they outside of the church, completely rebellious, refuse to do anything God tell them to do. Okay? But yeah, that's it, brothers and sisters. I think I did enough talking for today. I hope you guys had a good time during this lesson. Hope you guys got some understanding, and I will see you in the next chapter. Shalom.